Malcolm Gladwell is a popular author, and he's also something of a social philosopher. I heard him speak recently, and he said something really interesting about modern morality. He says the way we identify something as being right or wrong is exclusively in terms of whether or not it causes harm. So that is, if I want to convince you that something is wrong, I have to convince you that people are harmed. That's probably how we started saying words are violence. That kind of thinking is not going to lead us anywhere awesome. We have been down that road before with a fellow named John Stuart Mill and utilitarianism. The general idea is that an action is wrong in proportion to how it produces pain and right in proportion to how it produces pleasure. Over the years, this theory has gotten more sophisticated, and it's now more likely to be called consequentialism, and the idea is that we should produce consequences that bring along the most good. So we couldn't really lie with Kant's categorical imperative, but we can now with consequentialism. At least when you can lie to save a life, it's okay. So a couple points to keep in mind as we walk down this new road. One, you're no longer going to be judged by your intent. It's all on consequences now. You might have had good intentions, you might have wanted for something to turn out, but really all that matters is how it turns out. It's usually how we tell the difference between manslaughter and murder, for example. Thing two, you're probably obligated to produce more good than is comfortable. Consider this case. I see 3 kittens drowning. I like kittens, so I pull one out of the pool and save it from drowning. I've done a good deed, right? I've created more good and I've canceled out some bad. So I walk away, my job is done. The other 2 kittens drown. Well, that's horrible, right? I should have saved 3 kittens. That implies we've got a duty to maximize the good. We should do as much good as we can. You still with me? Not for long. Think about the last time you went to the grocery store and they asked you, did you want to round up for some good cause? And maybe you said yes and you gave 37 cents to the cause. Dig deep, man. Didn't you have $1 for the cause? Did you buy a Diet Coke? Is that Diet Coke really helping anyone? It could have put food on the table, could have saved a life. Should have done $1. Did you have $5 in your purse? Maybe you should have done $5, $20, $100. What's the money in the bank doing for people and for this world as a whole? Do you have a 401k? You could probably make it. And there are people starving and dying in other countries because you've got that money for a 401k. We're probably not prepared to maximize the good and meet that standard. But let me just give you my big spoiler. Where I'm at in this world generally is that I'm basically a moral failure. I do a lot of things wrong and immoral and unethical all the time. And that's pretty much true no matter which ethical theory I choose. I fail a lot. Once you embrace that you're basically a bad person, it's very freeing. It lets you do a lot more things, acknowledging that you're probably going to fail and you're probably not going to do a lot of things right. I suppose my view is probably depressing and negative, but it is at least consistent.